Hello everyone and welcome to part 2 of the Valk guide. Before we start, I want to thank Splice for the absolutely insane shoutout video he did about me. I will leave a link in the description if you haven't seen it yet. But yeah, I was just not expecting it at all and it's just simply insane. So welcome everyone who came from Splice channel and I hope you enjoy my content. Alright, so in this part of the guide I will be talking about feats, general 4v4 playstyle in Dominion, how to play teamfights, which tools to use, perks, and then my suggestions for how we should play Breach. Unfortunately, Valk is extremely weak in that mode, and so there will not be that much to talk about, but I will try my best to find something anyway. Alright, so let's start with feats. For all modes you want Bounty Hunter, Bloodlust, Javelin, and then either Fire Flask or Scout. One thing I want to draw your attention to is how well they synergize with each other. Bounty Hunter heals you and restores your stamina every time you get a kill. Bloodlust increases both your damage and defense for 10 seconds every time you get a kill. Note that there is a cooldown of 30 seconds on it. And then Javelin is quick, deals 50 damage and is great at finishing people off, which every time you do finish someone off, you heal yourself and get Bloodlust. Or if you already do have Bloodlust, then hit someone with a Javelin, it deals insane 75 damage and of course heals you with Bounty Hunter if you get the kill. I think you get the point. All of the feats work extremely well together. And then there's the tier 4, which is the choice between Scout and Fire Flask. Both are viable feats. I personally prefer Fire Flask for matchmaking because I like being able to more directly influence a teamfight, but in a competitive match I would most likely pick Scout as it's more consistent and can help on the entire map, which is nice for example in Breach. So basically this one is your choice. In my opinion, Valk's feats are very fun and very well designed, so I hope you guys have fun with them too. Now, in general 4v4 playstyle and some teamfight tips. In a high level match, Valk is not really good at anything except for using her forward dash light to punish and chase people down, and her sweep to finish combos like Raider's Charge. Her damage is extremely low and she feeds a lot of revenge, so in most situations, you do not want to be pressing too many buttons if you're playing against decent opponents. There are however some things that you can do, so let's quickly go through them. Valk is okay at finishing people off and her gank can be nice if set up correctly. With Bloodlust and Javelin unlocked, she can participate in teamfights and as soon as she gets one kill, start going ham on the opposition. Her chains on one hand have very high recoveries and are easy to punish, but on the other have nice range and the chain top light is quite quick, so you want to be using that whenever you think you're safe to do so. You shouldn't, however, be using too many shield crashes unless the opponent is very low on health and doesn't have much revenge, or if you think he's simply not going to dodge shield crash into sweep, which, to be honest, most people will not. In matchmaking, Valk can really stack up damage. Sweep can also be very handy as it stops the opponent from activating revenge, so you can get your damage in every time. It also guarantees a heavy for your teammates. In terms of her 1vx potential, she's okay, because she does have those chains I talked about, and again, if she does get one kill, she can be very dangerous for a short period of time. But in the end, she's not Berserker or Nobushi, who are very good at 1vx situations. She's not bad though, and you want to be using her chains to stop people from punishing you, but at the same time don't go into your chain finishers too much, as they have some of the longest recoveries in the game. Once you're in revenge, your damage is obviously way higher, and if you're up against enemies who don't dodge sweeps, you can use those to quickly eliminate one of the opponents, most likely leaving you in a 1v1 or a 1v2, which are both much more manageable. Otherwise, you shield crush, feats if you have them, and chains as said previously. But yeah, I'm sure you noticed how I say, if you're against people who can't dodge this, use it, etc, etc. That is because at the highest level, Valk is extremely mediocre, with her two redeeming qualities being her forward dash lines and her feats. So if I were to make a guide aimed solely at that level of play, it would be quite depressing and honestly short. So while I don't want to lie to you, and that's what all the disclaimers are for, I also want to give you some tips and knowledge. Alright, now some more about her teamfights. Without your feats, all you can really do is use your forward dash light, that's very good at punishing attacks, as it is 500 milliseconds, and can be used 100 ms into the dash, making it one of the overall quickest dash attacks in the game. However, your side dash lights aren't nearly as good, so I would suggest usually sitting back in a teamfight, and once you see a Nobushi use Sidewinder, or a Kensei zoning, or whatever other attack that you know you can punish, do that, and then go into your chains for a bit. Target switch a top light attack onto somebody else, or something like that, maybe sweep if they're low, but be careful as you can take a lot of damage doing that. Once you have your feats though, things slightly change. With Bloodlust and Javelin, every kill is a cue for you to start being much more aggressive. Anytime you see someone at around half health, just try to kill them with Javelin, especially if you have Bloodlust activated. That will be a great pickup for your team, of course, but it will also heal you, allowing you to stay in the fight for much longer. In the description I will leave a link to a post about all the feats with all the details that you would ever need, so check that one out to see the specific cooldowns of feats, etc. Alright, so I think that's about it for Valk and Dominion. There really isn't that much. Your shield tackle is nowhere near as useful as it was in duels. Its only real use is if you want a little bit of safety in teamfights, as it can almost work as a second dash. Your shield crush feels a lot of revenge and is very risky to use often. Superior Light does have some added utility with being able to Superior Light attacks not locked onto you, and I use that all the time against Nibushi's who zone around. But be careful, as it's not easy to do consistently, and that is why I'm mentioning it now, at the end of the section. Also, when it comes to Valk's minion clear in Dominion, you kind of want to be just using her zone attack, especially if you can be locked on to somebody else. That's going to make it pretty good at killing minions. Now, perks. I might make a separate video going a little bit more in depth about some of the perks, but I think for both Dominion and Breach I would use the same set of perks for Valk, namely Radiant Rebound, Remedy and Rising Dawn. The reason for that is, Radiant Rebound is very strong in Dominion and can be useful in Breach too, allowing you quicker rotations and better mid control. Remedy is a mini bounty hunter that further improves your playstyle, and the Rising Dawn is overall kind of a must-have for those 75% HP revives. I might change my mind as I play more Valk, but in Season 8 she's honestly not been too much fun for me, so we'll see how much more I play her. Alright, now Breach. I played some games with her on and off stream to prepare for this guide, but honestly I'm kind of out of ideas for what Valk should, or more importantly really could, be doing in this mode. Her minion clear is extremely mediocre. In Dominion she's okay at it, due to her zone having quite a large hitbox, especially if locked onto an opponent, but it deals so little damage it is impractical for killing Breach pikemen. In order to finish one off, she needs to throw 2 heavies in a row that have very weak hitboxes, so you're most likely going to be hitting 1 or 2 at all times. She's okay with 1v1 defensively, but offensively she doesn't pose much of a threat, so she's not the best at pushing the side lane either. You do want to get kills, as again, just like in Dominion, they activate your feats and make Valk a much better character, but because of how the mode works and how Bloodlust can be activated from killing captains, it's kind of difficult to consistently be able to proc it in useful situations. What I found works pretty okay with Valk and Breach is trying to get your tier 2 feat as quickly as possible. So, that could be done by slowly killing minions, maybe grabbing the boost to aid yourself in that, planting the flag, or of course killing opponents. What's going to be extremely important for you is to learn all the Breach timings, so you can be as efficient as possible in the early game, which can help you do well in a match. Make sure your renowned gain is optimal each game, so that you can get your tier 2 and tier 3 feats as early as possible, and then you can join all teamfights, try to 1v1 people, or clear mid with boosts. Remember that the attack buff gives you a higher damage increase against pikemen than it does against players, so you can use that to clear mid much more easily. So that's about it for the second part of the Valk guide. Sorry that it was so late, but I wasn't happy with an early draft of the video, so I had to rewrite and re-record it. Next guide should be coming soon, and it will be about Warlord. After that we will move on to new heroes, we will see how long that one takes, but still hope you guys enjoyed the video. There's going to be a lot of content coming to this channel, so make sure to stay in touch with me and see you guys next time.